Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's exciting Lunch and Learn series here. Hey, I'm Will. I'm going to be your host today here. Feel a little under the weather, so I apologize. I definitely did not want to cancel this live Lunch and Learn. I felt like it was we had to cancel before because of the weather. It was weather condition. It was very important that everyone made it safe and sound. But this time I wanted to make sure we got this in today. And I'm starting to feel a little better, got my energy back. So again, I apologize, but I did want to make sure I come on here and see all of you inviting people. And again, I appreciate you taking your time out during your lunchtime to look and see what we have to talk about on how to avoid a $1 million penalty. And this is something for every CPA, every insurance agent, enrolled agent. You all need to know this. It's going to be a very impactful day. You're not going to want to miss this. So let's go ahead and get into it because we got a lot to care. We got a lot to cover. And I want to make sure that you receive everything you need and you get a chance to ask questions, any concerns, put those in the chat, this is a live event, folks, okay? So we're here live in living color here. Today is Wednesday, February the 5th. I'm glad to see that you're all here. All right, let's go ahead and jump right on into this thing here. So we're going to talk about a few things here today, okay? So a lot of things we're going to talk about is the human factor, okay? The human factor meaning things that can be controlled by the human. And what that means is talking about employee training, okay? Do you have an incident response plan set up? Cybersecurity trends and threats that also going to be looking at you guys, okay? You all as CPAs, insurance agents, you all have to make sure you understand the vulnerabilities that sit amongst you that are ready to take your organization down. And then finally, why do a lot of you CPAs need that WIS report that's required by the IRS? You insurance agents, this is a plus for you because now you're getting valuable information that when you have CPAs need to write a policy, we would love for you to collaborate with us and be that trusted partner where we can help make sure that the CPAs, everybody, they're getting the right information possible to make sure that the coverages are being done, which will help lower the cost. And I know insurance agents, you all will love to see that the companies are doing their due diligence to make sure that they're getting everything covered. Okay? All right. So we're going to talk about the human factor. Okay? The human factor, we got this brain up here talking about how training does. You know, when we get information, we suck it in, and we think about it, we mitigate on it, and we just try to make sure that we can understand what needs to happen, right? So in this digital age today, employees are the first line of defense. You guys are the first line of defense, and you must know what to look for. Now, right now, I notice a lot of people, when I talk to people, they're like, well, yeah, we don't click on everything. We just tell our employees to make sure, don't click on every email, and we'll be okay. We have normal antivirus on there. We might have Norton or McAfee on there or Malwarebytes on there, and our IT guy is doing that. Well, that's not enough, folks. I've said it time and time again on our previous podcast, our previous cybersecurity smarts that we've had. You need to make sure that you're getting the training, okay? Nowadays, you have to have the proper training. And for your insurance companies, you all need to be making sure, right, that when people come to look for cybersecurity coverage, that they are getting that cybersecurity training. If you're not getting the training, then you're not being proactive to make sure you're watching your business effectively. Okay, there are a lot of things that the employees have to watch and make sure, because we all know that numbers don't lie. And when numbers don't lie, look, I can tell you the amount of people that feel like getting cybersecurity training does not matter. And when I say the numbers don't lie, so many people when they go and say, again, I just said it just a few minutes ago. Hey, yeah, we got cybersecurity insurance. Oh, yeah. Oh, we're going to pay one company, right? We got churches out here. We'll pay a company $400 or $500 a month. And then they think that, well, they got us covered. If you're not doing cybersecurity training, meaning on a monthly basis, your team is not going through a series of questions, looking at phishing attacks, checking out, making sure you're not being hacked, or doing penetration testing, right? You're not making sure your emails are not having MFA, or nowadays you don't need MFA. There's another level of connection, folks. Microsoft accounts are being hacked every time. Okay, every time. So, the thing is, people understand, people see it. Okay. So when the hackers, when they're out there looking at it, right? They're out there looking at it and they're making sure that things are going on. They're checking behind your system. Right now, this week alone, and all last week, we've been getting so many alerts of email addresses being open across the world. And these email addresses are being accessed. There's people, their email addresses are trying to get access. The passwords are incorrect. So if you don't have that incident response plan where the people can go on and make sure they can shut these things down, you're in trouble. The amount of users that people are seeing phishing emails is ridiculously at an all-time high. Right now, the hackers know in the world that you all, the CPAs, it's tax time. And please do not take this time as a time to negate or to put your most important things to the side, which is making sure that your business is safe and secure. Yes, it's tax time, but guess what? Just like you just started, you can quickly be down just like that. So all I'm saying to you is you got to make sure that these things are happening and you are doing what you need to do. Okay? So my thing is you got to make sure your due diligence is being done. You're taking care of all the pieces that you need to do. Okay? Look at some news here. I got some news articles here. I'm not going to read them verbatim here. But again, hey, look right here. Twitter. Employees fall for social media engineering attack. Okay? You got a healthcare hack. Okay? Employees are downloaded a malicious file. The file looked like a normal file. Their antivirus, okay, went through and said, hey, this file is okay. Their antivirus checked it. But that's the problem. You no longer just can you utilize antivirus. You got to have MDR, XDR, EDR. There's so many pieces and all these acronyms that I just said, I know you don't understand it. But that's why connecting with a trusted partner like ourselves will help you in this situation to avoid that $1 million penalty. Okay? Here, I'm showing you what are the stakes. So we got damage control over here. We got increased cyber risk attacks over here. We got compliance regulations. We got the loss of clients' information. And then we got finances. Folks, do you understand what the FTC safeguard rules are? The FTC safeguard rules is a level of compliance that was made by the government. And if you don't have these certain compliances in check, you are bound to have repercussional fines, okay, from the federal government. And with those fines, you're going to have reputational damages, meaning your name is going to be in the headlines. Okay? Look, when I tell people, they look at it and say, well, we're not doing nothing. You know, we don't have anything big, or we have a company that, especially healthcare, okay? They say we utilize a portal that they log into and all the information is inside of there. Well, I tell people, guess what? You're still very vulnerable, because if the other company does not protect what your information is being protected from, then you have your local machine. Your local machine, then you have your network. You have to remember, there are channels of ways of people getting in to your system. So when they get into your system, it comes from the network. Then it goes into your system. Then it spreads throughout your organization. It may not affect John over here, but it's going to affect Jimmy or Mary, right? Or none of them is affected, and it goes to a different department and it affects them. So the way it does is it comes in and it starts to work. And then it eventually spreads around and find the weakest exploited areas in the network and then pushes on, they do their attack. And once that attack happens, the problem you have now is if you have outdated passwords, if you have weak passwords, no passwords, if you have no defenses set up, you don't have the proper or updated firewalls. If you're dealing with an older system, I know people dealing with Windows Server systems that are 10 years old or older. I know people that are dealing with Exchange servers that are 15 to 20 years old, right? I know someone, I just found out in my last week that people were accessing the stuff. They were accessing a Windows XP machine or a Windows 8 machine. So when they're having a Windows 8 machine and they access that, what's going on with that? They're operating out of an older, outdated system, which causes more vulnerabilities. So I told this one client, this is the problem you're going to have. As soon as you remove one piece, you're going to start seeing a trickle effect of a lot of other pieces going on. That's what's going to happen. So now you're looking at more financial burden, more time being down in your organization, okay? And the thing is, your clients, eventually, when they get the word and find out, oh, you know what? You guys are not doing your due diligence to make sure my information is staying safe. Guess what? Your stuff is going to be down. Okay? They're going to look at you like you're not doing your due diligence. So that's why we're talking about making sure your clients' information is protected. But the only way it can be protected, it starts with your frontline workers. Those are your employees. Training the areas is much more important. You have to make sure your employees are being trained on a monthly basis about phishing attacks, social media attacks, meaning pretending to be someone that you're not. Okay? So when you're pretending to be someone that you're not, that's a problem. How do you determine if you're the actual person or if you're not? You don't know. So what I tell you is make sure your defenses are set up. Make sure you have everything under control. Your people, you must do this for your people because they don't know. So when they don't know, then how do we fix it? That's why you call a trusted advisor like us to make sure these things are being done. The next thing is make sure your password security is up to date. I just stated to you before about having old, outdated information, old, outdated equipment. There's people working on old email servers. Is your password being updated on a regular basis? Not every 6 months, not once a year, not once every 2 years. Do you have a system in place where it does not allow you to use the same password? Does it change up the complexity of it? Okay. Data handling. Folks, I can't say this enough. The data handling must be superb. This is why the compliance piece, there are many compliances. You have PII, personal identifiable information. If you're sitting here in your office right now, and you have any personal information, you have someone's social security number, you're taking payments, you have their address, if you have any of that information, how is that being safeguarded in the event that when your system does get hit, how do you make sure that's safe and secure? Okay? So not only did we have the PII, we had the PCI compliance. You're taking credit card payments, HIPAA, GDPR. Okay? That's sitting here talking about the personal information I'm just talking about. Okay? You have to make sure you have a means where their information is being protected when you do get hit. And if you don't have that in place, folks, you're in for a serious rude awakening, high extensive fines, and you're going to be publicly humiliated. Device security. I just mentioned that about device security operating on older, outdated systems. Okay? When you're operating on old, outdated systems, the hackers love to come and do this stuff. This is what they do. Okay? So with that being said, when you're doing this, your device, you need to, if you're on Windows 10 Pro, you're good. However, it's time to upgrade that. By August of this year, anyone on Windows 10 Pro needs to go ahead and update to Windows 11 Pro, especially being in business. No one at all in your business should be operating on a Windows 11 or a Windows edition of Home. Okay? You should not be on a Home edition of Windows. So, if you're in a Home edition of Windows, serious problem. Okay? So let's make sure your devices, your router, your firewall, all your the wireless connections, make sure your printer has the latest and updated drivers. Make sure your printers have the latest and updated firmware. Okay? All your other IoT devices. Okay? I'm talking about like if you have security cameras. Folks, all your security cameras SOC 2 compliant, SOC 1 compliant. Do all your security cameras password protected? Meaning, when someone gets in your network, once they get in your network, you know they have full control of your camera system, right? They can literally shut down cameras in your organization and plot a robbery. But because you see your security camera system up on your monitor, you think it's working, but it's not. It's just there. Folks, make sure you have those things controlled. Access management. I just talked about making sure you have those things controlled. You have passwords made. Make sure your passwords are not listed on a piece of paper. Folks, these are the things that we can help you with because the pains of running a business, being a CPA, knowing you have numbers, being an enrolled agent, being in an insurance company, in order to make sure that the people that you serve has the proper information, the proper things in place, you have to make sure that you're working with a trusted advisor. And right now, we are here posing as your trusted advisor to talk about these things because we care about your business. So when we care about your business, because we're in the same business, we do the same exact thing. Not only that we're doing the processes for you, but we have to update our processes all the time. And folks, it's not a set it and done type thing. It's not you implement one strategy or one type of software and then you're good. All of our clients, everyone who partners with us, right? Everyone who partners with us, their systems change. Why? It's because the hackers are not resting. There's some times that we have to continue to update our security protocols to make sure we follow and keep in line. It's almost like staying on top of the ages. If you don't stay on top and continue to evolve what they're doing out there, you're going to find yourself behind. Then you're going to come in, your systems are not going to be up and running, and then you're going to have a bigger problem. Why we look at compliance, and having policies in place. Again, if you don't have an incident response plan, if you don't have training going on for your employees, if you don't have your systems updated, folks, we ran an end of the year updated year campaign talking about updating your systems at the end of the year. If you did not update your system and you're working on an outdated system, even though you're in tax season, folks, we can help you get that done right now and still be in your tax season with no downtime. Why? Because some of you may work on the weekends. Some of you, a lot of you work during the weekday. Okay? We have a team that's ready to go to come by and be your total defense and making sure that your employee is going to be able to comply with the organization's policies and procedures. Okay? The new organization's policies and procedures that we put in place. We're going to put in new compliance stipulations that is going to make you compliant based on your needs, based on your CPA firm, based on your insurance office. So based on that, from the FTC, from the IRS, from the state, you all have compliance regulations that you have to follow. Do you know what those compliances are? Do you know what those compliances are? And if you don't, this is the perfect time to connect with us so we can help you. Let's get on a call. We'll set up a first-time appointment call to go on and look and talk about those things. But the main thing you want to do is partner with a cybersecurity compliance advisor who understands, not just your IT guy. Your IT guy is not going to know nothing. He's not going to know, he or she is not going to know the full compliances that what needs to be done. You're not going to have your best friend who's been doing your IT stuff for the last 15 years or 10 years. He or she is not going to know what to do. Uncle Ben, who comes in whenever we need him, he or she is not going to know what to do. And I will tell you, I've had many people recently, over last year, the year before, they got the aunts, uncles, they got the brother, they got the cousin, they got the nephew. Oh yeah, he or she is our IT person. And they are yet handling the things that they need to do. And they're doing HIPAA compliance stuff. They have documentations. They have employee, or not just employee, but for all you clients out here who has day support programs, day treatment centers, and you're supporting, how can I say it, mentally challenged people. You're supporting consumers on a state level. You all know you have a compliance regulation due diligence to make sure that you have a technology plan in place. You have, a lot of you got to deal with CARF or Joint Commission. So what I'm saying to you is, insurance companies, we can be your line of defense to help and make sure that your potential clients or your existing clients are meeting the criteria needs to be fully protected. And again, I know for your insurance companies, one of the main things is when you're trying to write a policy for cybersecurity insurance, you are looking at, hey, what's your incident response plan? What plan do you have in place to make sure that these things are being in line? Did you know that insurance and accounting firms have a higher risk of cyber attacks than any other business out here? Did you know that? The thing is, one of the reasons why is because we're covered. There's so many critical points about cybersecurity incidents, about assessments, threat intelligence. Folks, we have AI. You got an AI out here going to war. You ain't seen nothing yet with AI. Folks, I'm telling you, you need to be on board yesterday. And this webinar, this lunch and learn here that we're talking about, I'm giving you this valuable information. This is valuable information that you must take place now. Yes, tax season has happened. You just got finished helping with several clients do their 1099s and W-2s. Now the door is going to be opening for doing tax returns, if it already has not opened already. Folks, if you're working again, Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows 10, Windows 8, it doesn't take that long to update your systems. You'd rather update those systems now than to be in the middle of your tax season or in the middle of doing taxes for someone, and then your whole network goes out. What do you do when you're working on someone? You'll have an office of 10 to 15 tax preparers, and they're working on something, and all of a sudden your internet go out. Or you can't get access to, if you're using a tax software like Drake Tax Service, right? So you're utilizing Drake Tax Service or ATX, right? You're using ATX Tax Service, and you're doing it, all of a sudden, your network stops, your documentation, things are just moving so slow. You can't get access to certain things. Your numbers aren't adding up. They're not totaling. What do you do then? Now you're in the panic mode. Well, when you're in a panic mode and you don't have an incident response plan in place, did you know that to get these things fixed will actually cost you even more money than if you already had something in place? If you have something in place, and again, folks, do not wait till after tax season. Don't say, well, tax season started, I'm going to wait until we go on and do it. You're in a world trouble. You're in a world trouble. Do it now. In the middle of tax season, it's going to be March, April. You're going to be in the midst of it. And then when it happens, your first retainer to just fix a smaller issue is going to be at least $10,000. You're going to be putting down a $10,000 retainer just to start an instant response about what's going on in your stuff. Then you're going to have days being down. Now you got your client sitting here waiting. How long is it going to take to get my taxes done? They're looking for their refunds. Rapid refund. They can't get their rapid refund because your system is down, because you didn't do your due diligence, because you didn't want to spend the money right now to go ahead and update the system currently. Then you try to file a claim with the insurance company, and guess what? Your insurance claim is going to be denied. Or they may pay that insurance claim. And for all you insurance companies, I know you know, but I know you guys have seen where you paid that claim, but you came back, and after further investigation, you found out the client was being negligent. They didn't have the proper protocols in place to make sure that this couldn't have happened. Now, is there a solution out here that would cure all and nobody gets hacked? Absolutely no. Absolutely no. There is no way, there's no system, no protocols, no company can guarantee a full 100% protection over any company. There's no one out here in the world. No one. But what we can do is put protocols in place to minimize that risk. We can minimize the attacks that can happen. We can help mitigate the risk where we have documentation where we did everything possible to make sure it happens, because nothing is bulletproof. Nothing. So there's no bulletproof defenses out here. And if you have an IT person, company, or whoever tell you we can protect you from all hacks, folks, I'm telling you, you need to run. Do not trust them. Because they're going to be out there to get your money. They're going to put in 1 or 2 protocols, and they're going to be like, okay, they're going to do a set it and continue, and that's going to be it. And you're going to be in a world of trouble. So making sure you have an incident response plan, folks. I've been talking about incident response many times this morning. I've been talking about incident response. And what that means, again, when something happens or before something possibly happens, do you have a team on the outside that can see things before it happens? Or who can help mitigate the issue when it happened? Because not everything is going to be stopped in the forefront. But what you want to have is, it's almost like a front door. You want to have your bottom lock and your deadbolt. That bottom lock, if for some reason somebody leaves that bottom lock unlocked, you can turn that handle, that door will open. But if that deadbolt is closed and locked, even if that bottom lock is there, is unlocked, you ain't getting in. And what we're doing, we're providing that deadbolt. Okay? So you want to make sure the incident response plan is in place. Your devices are in place. Your devices are updated. Your password security. You want to make sure all those things are done. Okay? Now, when I was talking about the incident response, what are the steps to incident response? Again, preparation, which is we're going to put something in place. We're going to put some defenses. We're going to put policies and procedures in place. Then we're going to make sure we have the identification where we can identify each and every area of your network. The containment is when something comes in, how we can mitigate so it doesn't spread, how it doesn't get worse. Your ratification. We're making sure we got all our documentation where all our I's are being dotted and all our T's are being crossed. Now we're coming up to our recovery time to make sure we can recover everything in a short amount of time period and get everything back up and running. Then, and only then, is where we'll talk about it to you all. Hey, how did this happen? What else can we do to make sure this does not happen again? And when we're doing that, that's all about employee training. Okay? All about employee training. Doing the preparation. Again, and we'll go back through these things here. This is just some literature here about these things. Again, identification, okay, containment. Containment, folks, is very, very critical. Because you don't want this virus or issue to continue to spread. And you have no idea what's going on. Okay? One of the biggest things we want to make sure we get out of this whole thing is, what lessons have we learned from this? What are we going to do different that we did this time to make sure we don't do this again next time? Well, now we're going to talk about, so any questions? Let me first get that before we go on to the next session. Any questions at all? And your folks, you're always welcome to send your questions to my email, will@triadcybersolutions.com. Say, hey, I was attending your Lunch and Learn series, and I had some questions I wanted to ask, but here I go. Or you can set up an appointment with me. At the end of this presentation, there's going to be a QR code where you can set up an appointment with me, and you can ask your questions. We get a chance to get to know each other, to see what's going on. I get to learn a little bit more about your business, and see what pain points you have, what concerns you have in your organization. Folks, this is not a selling tool. This is a cybersecurity smarts lunch and learn to let you know what we can do to help you. We want to be, again, your trusted IT and compliance advisor. So here at Triad Cyber Solutions, we want to make sure that you have every bit of information that you need. And again, if you have questions, we're here at the forefront to help you. Okay? All right, since there's no more questions here, we're going to go ahead and deep dive right into cybersecurity trends that are threatening CPAs and insurance agents this year. Okay? And again, to many of you, again, Happy New Year. This is going to be the year of change. The year of change, folks. Then again, all right, so I've already told you, cybersecurity, CPAs and insurance agents are one of the highest targeted businesses out here in the world for cyber attacks. Okay? Why? You all have a lot of information. Two, a lot of you don't even understand or take cybersecurity or just being protected serious. You don't. You don't take it serious at all. Many of you CPAs especially, you look at the cost. Oh my gosh, I don't know. This will cost a lot of money to get this covered. I don't know. We can't afford this. Well, you don't have to pay for it now, but you're going to pay for it later. And when you pay for it later, you're going to pay for it more than double, probably double or triple. And then once everything gets mitigated and you can't do any work, you can't do any work for your clients, you're going to have all this downtime. You're going to have to seek your friends or your other colleagues to push off some of your tax returns to other companies to do because you can't get it done because your systems are down, because you've been attacked. So again, folks, do something now. Okay? The attacks are not decreasing. They are rising higher and higher. Okay? There's another ransomware out here. It's called RansomOp. RansomOp. It's a more calculated ransom, right, that is deploying through all your information again, holding up different targets. And so in other words, it's going to target certain areas of your system. When it starts targeting certain areas, let's say you have QuickBooks. So you're dealing with QuickBooks, or you're dealing with Sage, or you're dealing with Peachtree. And those pieces, they decide they want to go attack those. They're attacking certain executable files. And it's making it a big, big problem. If you don't have backups, you don't have other ways to protect your information from being attacked, you're going to be in a world of trouble. Cloud security. Is your cloud security up to par? Don't think because you have your regular machine and you put Malwarebytes or Malwarebytes EDR, or you put something like that on your machine, and then you're using a cloud environment that you're still protected. You still have to equally have the same number of protections and protocols in place on your regular computer and on your cloud machine. And again, we have to be adaptive. You have to adapt to all of the targets that are coming around. You got to adapt to what is out there. You have to adapt to know that these hackers work 24/7, 365 days a year. They never rest, especially on the weekends. When you're taking the weekend off because you're off, you're working Monday through Friday, they're working on the weekends. Sometimes your printer can't connect. You can't print to your printer on Mondays. Your internet starting up slow. Computer's running slow. All your updates not doing properly. There's reasons for it. There's reasons for it. Again, all of this is having and will cause a lot of financial bottlenecks for you where you will end up spending more money, wasting a lot more time to understand what's going on and why you need to do what you need to do. But if you would have done it from the beginning, you'll be okay. Incident response plan, folks. A trusted IT advisor like us here at Triad Cyber Solutions. All right. We're going to talk about the WISP report from the IRS, why it's important, and, folks, you have to keep it updated. Ding, 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 ding. What a lot of you folks don't realize is your WISP report, you did one 2 years ago when they first came out with it. But your WISP report on 2025 should be totally different from 2024 or 2023. If it's the same, you're going to be in a world of trouble. This is the reason why I told you earlier, we don't always keep everything the same. Okay? As a trusted advisor, we're always updating information. We're always updating our processes. We're always looking at our processes. We're making sure that when the hackers move, we're moving. Okay? We never stay stagnant. We have a 24/7 SOC team that watches every single thing on the back end every day, 365 days a year. Do you have someone watching your stuff like that? And again, if you have an IT person, then you know you don't have someone watching 24/7. Because the only thing they're doing is saying, hey, we're going to put in Malwarebytes, or we're going to put in, Norton's AV something, right? Norton's AV, EDR, whatever the heck they have. They're going to put that stuff up there, and now we're controlled. We're good. We get alert. I get the alerts sent to me so I can see alerts when things are happening. Okay. That's a start. But it's not going to help you when on the WISP report, it has a lot of detailed information about policies, procedures, your incident response, how you handle documents. It's so much to report. And it's several pages. Several pages. So do you have your risk report updated from 2024? I can guarantee you no. I put money on it. I do a challenge for you. I have a challenge for you. If you have an updated WISP report that was updated from last year, and you said, my IT person in December updated my risk report for this year, and I'm talking about nothing, we talk about as of right now. If you can show me your risk report that has been updated right at the end or before the end of 2025 or 2024, or in January of 2025, I will provide you a free cybersecurity risk assessment to your organization. I will provide you a free cybersecurity risk assessment and / vulnerability test of your network if you've done a new risk report as of January of 2025. We've already done our clients. All of our clients, CPA offices, they've already had their updated risk reports done. We just got to provide them to them, and then they have them. So that's what I'm telling you is, do you have that stuff covered? Now, why is it important to have one? I talked about compliance. You got regulatory compliances coming from the FTC safeguard rules. You have compliances coming from the Graham, Leach, and Bailey Act, which is the GLBA. Excuse me. Okay. They want to make sure that you understand the ramifications, the penalties, the obligations, right, that you have to protect sensitive client and financial data information. And then if you fail to have that done, there are severe financial penalties. And we're talking about, it's a possibility you're going to have penalties. Each penalty that they find, it's a $10,000 fine. They start there. They start at $10,000 per occurrence, per fine. Everything they find, $10,000. I know I don't have $10,000 to try to come up with because I didn't have my incident response plan or my WISP sitting there all updated. So you want to make sure that you do that. And it starts with connecting with a trusted advisor. I always talk about coming and connect with a trusted advisor. We here at Triad Cyber Solutions are your trusted advisor for IT and compliance, cybersecurity compliance services. We can help you with all of the things that you need to do. Insurance and legal protections. What this does is, in the event when you do get hit and you can show them you have these things in place, it lowers to say, hey, you know what? They've done their due diligence to make sure this happens. So for your insurance companies love this. Because now you have validation, and it puts you a little more ease at mind that, hey, you know what? This company has solutions. This company has policies and procedures. This company has a secure incident response plan to make sure when something does happen, which will least likely make them have something happen. It's not going to guarantee it, but we're going to continue to knock on wood to make sure. Okay? Why update your WISP report? Because, as I told you earlier, a lot of IT people will sit here and say, hey, we updated your stuff a year or 2 years ago. Well, sometimes that stuff is outdated. So for our clients, we have to update stuff periodically throughout the year. And in order to do that, we have to stay up to date with the hackers. The hackers aren't keeping the same information. Once they see you put something in place and they can go, oh, you know what? They changed the way that they're protecting their firewall. Now they're going to find another way and exploit that. The thing is, the compliance regulations, they change. With the compliance regulations changing, you have to always update. Okay? So your firm needs to make sure you have an updated WISP report to make sure it shows that you're staying up to date with all the compliance requirements, all the regular updates, all the legal consequences, all the financial obligations. The IRS wants to make sure that you're meeting those in order to keep your PTIN number. Folks, remember the IRS can suspend your PTIN number. Which, when they do that, it disallows you to be able to practice taxes. So for the insurance companies, you all seeing this information, this should be golden. This should be a golden opportunity to say, you know what? Your rates can be a little bit better if you have a plan in place. Because it makes people feel more at ease. Because if your rates if you have systems in place, you have an incident response plan in place, what that does is the insurance companies feel a little bit better on writing a policy for you. Because they like, you know what? Well, this company, they got all their ducks in a row. So they're looks like they're doing everything, all their due diligence to make sure that they don't get hit. We know there's no 100%, but at least you know that those things are done. So what we're going to do is help mitigate any financial loss. That's what that WISP report does. It breaks it down to let you know, hey, all of these pieces, okay, if you're not getting hit by a $10,000 fine or more from the IRS, the FTC regulations, they're making sure that you have everything in place, then you're good. Folks, here's that link. I told you before, I will offer a free cybersecurity risk assessment to you if you can show me that you've updated your risk report in January of 2025 or by December. Now, remember, there are ways to see things because I have had someone who tried to cheat. So someone who tried to cheat, they created their risk report before, like during my session, and I can tell in the document when the document was created, and of course, it messed them up. But our cybersecurity risk assessment, it has a $1,500 value. Here's a QR code. Scan this QR code to get one. Questions? And again, folks, here's our information right here. You can schedule your appointment. You can schedule the appointment. And please do not take time to be like, this is a no-brainer. This is a complete no-brainer, folks. Even if you want to try, even if you have stuff in place, let's say you have things in place and you just want to test to see if everything is good and see if you have any vulnerabilities, any weak spots in your network configurations or in your business. That's great. Let's jump on and let's see. Okay? Jump on a call and let's look at it and let's go through it together. Okay, folks? Here's my information right here. I am Will Castello. I'm the CEO and founder of Triad Cyber Solutions. I thank you very, very much for joining us and spending out your lunchtime with you. I hope your lunch was good, but most importantly, I hope you've gathered a lot of valuable information about what needs to happen, what you need to do. I hope you gathered and you understand, you take this very, very seriously. Folks, 2025, I'm telling you, it's going to be the year of sabotage. The year of sabotage. And I mean, you're going to think your systems are all normal and running good right now. Even right now. A lot of systems run very well until you do something. You make one movement. That's how stuff works. We go and update one system. Oh, now we got problems connecting on the network. That's how it happens. It takes in and it keeps a memory of your network scheme, and it does it. It keeps it, and then therefore it continues to flow through your defenses to make sure everything is good. And when it does that, when you move something out, now you see the break, now you see something going on, and then there, boom, there you go. So I tell you, don't wait. Schedule that, click on that QR code, schedule that appointment, or go to our website, tryitcybersolutions.com, click on the link, schedule an appointment, and let's go through this and let's do this together. I am here for you. I'm here to solve your problems, solve any kind of issues that you may have. I'm here to help solve whatever concerns you may have. I'm here to even solve if you want to just take and just see what your current IT person is doing. If you just want to make sure your current IT person is doing their job, I'm here to serve that for you too, as well. Okay, folks? Thank you again. This has been a great session. I'm so glad that you made it. Thank you very much. We'll see you soon on our next Lunch and Learn. We'll advertise that on social media platforms and whatnot. Otherwise, stay tuned next week to our next Security Smarts our Security Smarts session. Learn, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.